Justice for all.
Thank you very much. With that said, we will move and ask Ms. Hamilton to call the roll.
Mr. Hostetler?
Present.
Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Wallace? Mr. Corman?
Present.
Mr. Ellison?
Here.
Mr. Pratt?
Here.
Mr. Livingston?
Mr. Livingston was going to join via Zoom, and I think we need to double check whether he is on or not. Let me send him a text as we continue on. And thanks, Jeff.
Mr. Culbertson?
Here.
Judge Covington?
Present. That leads us to the minutes of our previous meeting. Any questions or comments related to those minutes as presented?
Motion.
Motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And that leads us next to number 5 on our agenda, transfers as presented. Any questions or comments? Would there be a motion?
Motion.
Motion. Second from Mr. Jones. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say yes. Yes?
Yes. Aye. Yes.
I've changed it up.
Messing with us.
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And then that leads us to number 6, bills and hand checks. Questions or comments related to those as presented? And would there be a motion?
Motion.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second for Mr. Pratt. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And that leads us to a special presentation tonight with our guest that we have here, Animal Care and Control. I'm going to turn it over to you all. Nathan, you going to take it from here?
Yeah.
Good evening. For years now, we've toyed with the idea of maybe just giving a highlight of coming up with some kind of award for citizens or some of our community partners, just to highlight someone who just kind of goes above and beyond when supporting our department. So this year we decided we would come up with, we decided to call it the Spotlight Award, just to spotlight that individual or group. And I think going forward, now we're doing this for the 2023. So next year, hopefully we'll do this in December or January. But tonight, and I'll just read you this a little bit, the Scott County Animal Care and Control Spotlight Award is going to be presented to any person, business, or group that has gone above and beyond in their support of our department. Our 2023 Spotlight Award goes to Dr. Alexa Noble. Dr. Noble has been a great supporter of us for years. A few of the ways that she's helped us, she never turns us away. Even if she's completely overwhelmed in her office, she's always there to help us out. If spaying, neuter, if we have something that comes in that's been injured. She also has helped us on several of our cruelty cases, and we lean on her for support with a lot of that stuff, especially when we get things from the lab that we don't necessarily understand the terminology. She can help us figure that out. And she's also been instrumental in assisting us with purchasing our medications and vaccinations at the lowest cost possible. And that's honestly, she could have said no, and we could have continued buying them from her at her fee, but instead we're able to get those without paying for paying taxes and all of those. So that was kind of a selfless act on her part, and she really helped us with doing that. Let's see. With that being said, I hope all of y'all will welcome me with in introducing Dr. Noble. I promised her she wouldn't have to say much. I may have given a little bit of a white lie. So this is the 2023 Spotlight Recognition Award honoring Dr. Alexa Noble, DVM, not TV, DVM, for going above and beyond in your contributions to the community by sharing your time, knowledge, and experience in an effort to support the Scott County Animal Care and Control Department and the pets of our community.
Very much. That was very nice.
Yeah. And you can say something if you'd like.
I
put
love
her on
what
the
I
spot.
do, but I hate being in the spotlight. But I love supporting the Scott County Animal Care and Control. I do a lot of rescue work through my business, and it's what I do. It's what I love, like it or not.
Let me speak on behalf of the court, and I'll ask the court if they want to say anything, but we truly appreciate your partnership, what you do for the community, and, it's very thankless, and you do a lot of things that others are not willing to do. And we're proud of our animal care and control team. They are fantastic, but we really value your partnership and what you do day in and day out. And my Woodford and Wrigley love you too. So.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, court members, would you all like to?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. No. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Then we get a picture
Yes, we got to do a photo.
with us in it.
I would appreciate being photoshopped in.
Can we turn around and just will head over top?
You all get up here in the front like old days.
Very lovely. President. I say, Stacy, I like your pictures better than mine. I'm the official photographer today. We do it for you. We need it.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead. You have the better camera.
I'm still in your sunshine.
No.
There's no sunshine.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'll get you in there, David.
No, thank you.
Thanks, Stacy.
Sounds like Al.
Yeah, right. Let's David can speak up again here. Yeah.
With that celebration, that'll lead us to number 8, ordinance 2402, second reading related to our occupational license tax language. And I'll ask Cam to read the summary.
No problem. All right, Scott County Fiscal Court Ordinance Number 2024-02, an ordinance amending Ordinance 0405 regarding occupational license taxes and amending Ordinance 20-06 regarding appeals. Summary. 1. Requires a current business license or copy thereof to be prominently displayed at each place of business or to be available and produced upon request if no physical business location exists. 2. Establishes business registration requirements, including the posting of a $275 cash bond with the county for general contractors as defined in the ordinance. 3. Establishes business registration requirements, including the posting of a $275 cash bond with the county for any person or business entity conducting activity in the county that does not meet the definition of a transient business and who does not own or lease a physical business location within the county for a period of over 6 uninterrupted months. 4. Provides for the electronic submittal of annual reconciliation documentation by employers with greater than or equal to 100 employees to the Georgetown-Scott County Revenue Commission, and further authorizes the Commission to prescribe/require the returns, forms, or reports to be filed and to define the way that each is to be filed. 5. Exempts the federal government from the requirement to withhold, report, and pay the occupational license tax, and to further establish tax withholding requirements for all such federal government employees. 6. Allows for the cancellation, termination, or suspension of a contract with a contractor or vendor determined by the Georgetown-Scott County Revenue Commission to be non-compliant with the county ordinances and requirements, and make such penalties appealable pursuant to the provisions of Ordinance 20-06. 7, allows for the suspension or revocation of a business license and to further establish notice requirements in the event of suspension or revocation, and makes such suspensions or revocations appealable pursuant to the provisions of Ordinance 20-06. 8, provides for repeal of inconsistent ordinances, severability of provisions, and an effective date upon passage and publications according to law. The full text of this ordinance is available for examination in the office of the Scott County Fiscal Court, 101 East Main Street, Georgetown, Kentucky, 40324. Introduced and publicly read for the first time April 12, 2024. Publicly read the second time April 25th, 2024.
Questions or comments? Would there be a motion? Motion for Mr. Hostetler, second for Mr. Ellison. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Good Lord.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Appreciate your work on that, and Cam needs to sign it as well. Thank you all very much. Number 9, road department surplus. There's one vehicle that was shared via email that needs to be surplused. That was shared by JR and Stacy. It is a Chevy, 2005 Chevy, and road department truck. So any questions or comments? As JR shared, it's outlived its usable life. And if JR says it,
How many miles did it end up having? What was the mileage on that thing?
About 200,000. I don't know the exact.
Somewhere in that range.
Yeah, got a lot of rust on
Just getting started for us.
is that a motion, Mr. Ellison?
Motion.
Second for Mr. Jones. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Sheriff Project Electrical Equipment Change Order. And I've talked to several of you all about this topic. I've shared emails back and forth. After discussion this afternoon, I'd like to propose the following path. We've already set up a meeting on Tuesday morning at the sheriff's office it's the regular construction update meeting. But Shannon DeVere, who is our general contractor, is going to be there. He's not there all the time. And, of course, Ian Beatty and then Tyler Wilson's also going to be there from Shout, Tate, and Wilson. I'm going to go and communicate at that meeting that I don't feel like the fiscal court should bear that, the majority of that cost that's being presented. And I don't know if we should bear any of the cost. That's a good question in itself. So I would propose that I go and try to navigate, negotiate that fact and communicate how we feel, and then probably call a special called meeting on Wednesday of next week at 4 o'clock just to try to approve a change order so we can get it ordered, the piece ordered, and move forward. But I think it's not, I think it's just the timing. We need to wait until we can sit down at a table with them, communicate that we don't feel like this is completely on us, or even a portion of it on us, and navigate from there, and then come back and have a special called meeting to address it. Rick.
A question, Judge, and it was probably in the email. That was a lengthy email chain. What was the original timeline of the finish date of the project?
I printed that off today, Rick, and I didn't bring it.
I was just looking, it seems like.
Of the total building project?
Yes.
I think the end of October, 1st November. JR is out there with me,
That's what it looked like to me.
and JR is at every meeting with us, and that's correct, isn't it, JR? And so what's been communicated is the switchgear, right as it stands, is not scheduled to get here until January. And what's been presented was to order a different option, a flex set option is what was presented. It was approximately $45,500. And the timeline was 3 to 6 months, and we're not guaranteed, anything outside of that, and it could most likely be 6 months. And they presented another option of paying an additional $13,000 that would guarantee you 3 months. So I think we need to communicate that, hey, this is not on us, and the expectation is that, trying to be good stewards of tax dollars is that, our general contractor or the sub absorb costs.
Well, some of it too, and you'll find that out, I think, in that conversation, because I think Square D is the manufacturer, and so, there's a part to play in that. Everybody knows since COVID, there's hardly any industry or any business that had been affected, and it's still happening. So there's a little bit of that, but you can find all that out by meeting with them. One of my concerns is if we waited with the timeline they got, and we got it in January, what's that going to do to the progress of the building? It's obviously going to put us a couple of months behind of our original, when we thought we were going to own the building and occupy. But if it went that, just if, again, you're going to have this conversation, if it went that route, what does that look like? Because
So I've asked, and Ian Beatty has asked as well, that a construction schedule be produced using the 3-month route and then using the 6-month route.
well, and here's the thing. You can continue to finish, but we'll also be, if you waited to, even if it came in November, the 6-month route. We're dealing with winter weather starting. That's not good but we build them all the time like that, but you have to provide heat. But the other thing is, the switchgear is the biggest items. Do they have to hold back on building a room or anything? Because sometimes they'll fit generally, but not always, and I don't know that answer. So that's something to be asked. I mean, if they're going to have to not build something, that's an issue too, that we got to consider in my
I
mind.
would say the two of you maybe think of questions for Joe to have.
Well, those are the biggest ones in my view.
Maybe between now and Monday, that we could
I think it's something
jot
else.
down a few questions.
Right.
I think my biggest question is, I still don't understand why it's taking so long for them to let us know we're not going to get something for another year
And they,
or 8 months.
in the email, they said that they weren't notified until 3/19 of the delay
From Square D.
from the manufacturer.
Well, they said Gray Bar, but
Yeah.
yeah,
But
it's
like-
a Square D product.
Today is the 25th of April. So,
I don't know how their process works, but I know how mine works. I ordered 75 meter packs, 6-gang meter packs. They all ordered them. They told me when they'd be here. There wasn't no waiting 3 or 4 months to say, hey, we're not going to get it this time. They should have knew when they ordered it that it's going to take this long. So, yeah, to me, I think the contractors have got to accept some responsibility on this.
yeah. Any other comments or questions? Does everybody feel like it's a path forward?
I'd just like to see the options, there's a quick ship option. So it's like they have it. We can get it to you faster if you pay more money. So it's not like they don't have, that's what I don't understand. If they can't get it, how's their quick ship option? Well, they're going to quick ship us.
Well, like if
We can't get it till January, but we'll ship it to you fast.
So if we drove a flatbed truck down there and picked it up in Atlanta,
Wouldn't it have to be a boat?
That's what the quick ship option's what gets me. It's like, hey, we can't get this till January 1 unless you pay us $90,000, and then we can get it before then. That makes zero sense. Either you have it or you don't.
yeah. No, I agree. I'll try to have a list of options from that meeting. Next, number 11, tornado shelter easement. And I'd like to recognize A.J. Singleton here. He is representing is it Mr. Keeney?
Mr. Keeney is one of the owners of the Georgetown Mobile Home Community. Georgetown MHCP that owns Sawyer Point.
So, and this, I'm very grateful. Mr. Singleton's been very, very helpful. We've talked to 2 or 3 different entities and individuals out off of Lyle Road, because when we came up with this project, the thought process was where's the greatest need? Where's need at? And stamping ground certainly has been a real need, but you look out on Lyle Road and there's a large number of mobile homes, modular homes that are susceptible to high winds, and this type of shelter, I think, is just a very, it's a home run for this area. So it's all about relationships. We talk about that all the time, and getting in touch with Mr. Singleton, making the presentation about what we wanted to do. Within just a few days, the next thing I know is, hey, Mr. Singleton's reaching back out. Ownership's very interested in this, very positive, and next thing we know, we're doing a Zoom, and then on that same Zoom, he said, let's make it happen. And so it wasn't drawn out. We didn't have to, Cam and Mr. Singleton have exchanged drafts of the easement, and there's still a couple little...
Yeah, but I think we're moving forward and just kind of like reviewing details.
So the request here from you all is Mike has checked with the manufacturer, and Mike, would you like to comment? I appreciate all Mike has done as well, footwork on this, but the feedback about the second.
Right. So I've been in touch with Dustin from Safety Shelter as the email string was progressing the last 6 or 10 days. So they knew that we were on path to order a second one. I called him this morning and said, we're basically going to get the easement. We've done all of our legwork. What are the chances of putting a package together for 2 instead of 1 and get them both delivered at the same time? He said he's right. He's on board with that. There's no problem with it. So bid price stays the same, $139,450 per unit. Which is great because we budgeted $150,000 2 years ago, so we're coming in $20,000 lower than we expected to be 2 years ago. I just was texting back and forth. It's going to be a 64-foot unit, a 64 long and 12 feet wide, 128 person per unit.
Oh wow! So
it's more than we're expecting.
No, we're getting more bang for our buck.
Get a lot of bang for the buck.
More shelter. That is awesome, Mike.
It's all U.S. made. It's an Alabama company. So U.S. steel, U.S. employees. He advised me that as soon as we clear the site on Reno Drive, within 10 days, their foundation crew will be on site pouring the foundation, and then after the foundation cures and they're satisfied with its strength, they'll bring both shelters same time, 1 crew in Stamping Ground, 1 crew on Lyle Road, and we'll be able to, we should be open and functional by August 1st.
That's awesome. And there is a unit on the 42 Reno Drive, but it's going to be moved first week of May. So what I'm asking you all is to approve the purchase of the second unit, and then approve us exercising an easement at 42 Reno Drive.
It's already in the budget.
It's already in the budget. Motion second. Dwayne? Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mike. And Mr. Singleton, thank you. And no, I appreciate you very much. So that is great to have that buttoned up. We've been working on that for a little while, and we'll look forward to getting installed. New business. I sent an email that was sent to me just literally had a revision. It was done today, but it is an extension and renewal of our agreement with CTC for our broadband grant administration. And they are very, very important. They prepare all the documentation. They oversee meetings with Spectrum and help us with submittals related to documents related to the grant. And just I would ask you all to share that via email. There's no changes to that. It's just an extension. And the reason we're extending is because these poll permits have taken so long for us to navigate through. It's why we're extending it. So, motion, second. Any other question or comment?
Judge, I'll just make a comment. I know they're, in the beginning, when we were, and I was involved in a lot of the Zoom calls, these folks were very helpful.
Oh, they have been instrumental. We wouldn't have made it without them. So, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. I'd like to ask Chris Runyon to come up. Chris and I met today with Jeff Mudrack and also Brandon Remley, and you had a phone call, and I'll let you share the story.
Okay. Good evening, Judge, Magistrates. So kind of out of the blue yesterday, we got a phone call from Pinnacle Treatment Centers. They own and operate Recovery Works and also one of the clinics here in town for the medications for opioid use disorder. They are applying for a grant that will be $750,000 annually for 4 years. Their question to us was, what can we do with that money if we are awarded? I think there's going to be 16 grants awarded nationwide. They feel like they have a good chance at getting it because they have so many services across the state. So rather than just serve one local community, they'll be serving probably over half the state, different communities. We suggested a social worker for our community paramedicine team. So we called, we had a conference call again this morning. The way it was laid out to me is the county, the fiscal court would hire a social worker, would pay them salary and benefits, and then however the court wants to set it up, whether it be biweekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever, we would submit those costs to Pinnacle, and they would reimburse 100%. So basically, we could get a social worker for 4 years with no cost to us. And as we talked about the community paramedicine in the past, you know that's a very big key to that service because not everybody needs medical treatment. They need mental health or a social worker to come and evaluate them. So they asked for a letter of support from the EMS. I spoke with the judge, and I feel like it may be a better option to ask the court to adopt a resolution in support for that grant, if you guys agree with that.
And
That's it, right?
there's no match or anything.
Nothing.
No match. So
No, and I printed off the grant is $750,000 annually for 4 years.
but it's across the state.
Yes.
So what they'd be funding here in Scott County is for 4 years, wages and benefits for a social worker.
Correct.
To help with the community paramedicine program.
How will that help them?
Sorry?
How will that help them?
Well, we utilize their resources now. I guess it would just be, they have to, in order to be awarded the grant, they have to show that they have partners in the community. So,
Well, yeah, so that's kind of my question. So how do you guys use their resources now?
well, Brandon will call them. We work, one of their folks, Sheena Krager, is actually a part of the team that goes out for the opioid, the follow-ups for the opioid overdoses. So she's part of that team that goes out with Brandon. So she and he work really closely together to kind of target these folks and then follow up for assistance or offer the resources that are available.
So are you wanting him
Well,
to draft the
yeah, I
resolution
mean,
later?
So what, the timeline I asked this morning is if, like, if we call a special call meeting on Wednesday, we could do it Wednesday, we could draft the resolution and then do it as part of that agenda on Wednesday, because I feel certain I'm going to ask you to have a special call meeting on Wednesday at 4. So all we wanted to do is lay the groundwork, ask you all what you thought, and gauge the temperature for it. I think it'd be very, very, very useful. So,
Just so I'm correct, we're just doing a resolution in support of it, right?
right.
Correct.
And then they'll apply for it. If they get it, then we can figure out, this is how much it's going to cost, and
Right.
we're not
Yeah.
locked in really to anything.
No, we're not. And Brandon has got some contacts in other states that do employ social workers, so he was going to call and see kind of what an average salary and work with Jeff on that and see what is a fair cost.
Just give me what information you have on that, and I will draft it.
Rick?
When are they expecting to hear back?
Their deadline to submit the grant is May 15th. They anticipated date to hear if it's awarded is September. So we got some time.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll have that on Wednesday.
Okay.
So thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Next, Chief Ward and Michelle, I just wanted to report that the finalized transaction for the engine and the payment has all gone through, wire transfer. So have they picked it up yet? But they're
waiting for that to get completed, and now I guess they'll look at getting the
okay. So I just wanted to let the court know that's finalized, and it's good to see a plan all the way through and good outcome. Very much appreciated. 10:45, 10:30 on Saturday morning. Just reminding you, I'd ask you to get there about 10:30, but around 10:45 to 11, when these games end and before the next games start after 11, or right there shortly there, we're going to gather a bunch of kids at Lyle Road at the soccer complex, and we're just going to do a ribbon cutting and say a few words about the project and officially cut the ribbon. So I hope that you all can come on Saturday morning, and we'll also have a plaque that's mounted on the wall, from the Doucette family, and dedicating it in the memory of Sonia. Sonia's family made a donation to the Friends of the Park, and I've shared that information. We approved that a few years ago, but we'll have that plaque up, and then we'll also get a plaque installed just with the court and names and dates as well. So,
Judge, a quick comment. I didn't change that ribbon cutting date on my calendar this past weekend. So, when I was in Lexington, I was actually late, but I drove through the park. It was packed. There was a lot going on.
Packed, and I have been
It
over
was
there several
packed.
times. Like 400 or 500 kids. And parents, but to have bathrooms, a little shelter.
I probably
concessions.
got there at 11 o'clock, maybe was when I was driving through, because they were ending games, and there were people pulling in and people pulling out, and there was a lot going on, and they were playing a lot of soccer.
Yeah, no.
We'll be there at 9 o'clock this Saturday for a game.
All right.
So everybody show up early and watch Cam's game.
No.
And then the last thing I want to mention, and then I'd be more than happy to have some comment from Mike or anybody else, but this past week, I think it was Tuesday morning at 2 a.m., there was a tragic truck accident, and as usual, very proud of our first responders and teams that respond, and we have a team out there on the interstate, and it's just shy of the Horse Park exit heading south, and Mike's staff's out there. They got a trailer, and they're trying to put up barricades, and the sheriff's department's out there working. And one of Mike's staff goes in, and he turns to the sheriff's deputy and says, "Hey, you got my back," because he wants somebody looking to make sure nothing's coming. Because you got to keep your eyes all the time. And not too much after the man goes in there, he hears the sheriff's deputy call out, and just in split-second decision, he jumps out, and a car goes underneath him at 80 miles an hour and knocks into the into the trailer, knocks into the sheriff's deputy Tahoe, knocks the Tahoe into the deputy. And we are blessed that we did not have 2 fatalities or more fatalities that morning. And I just wanted to, share that, that story. I didn't know if y'all had heard the story, but, just always thankful for the work that all our first responders do, and appreciate that much. And if anybody else wants to make a comment, Mike, thank you.
Yeah. I want to reiterate what the judge said. Very lucky to not have more fatalities in this situation. But we also want to make sure we recognize Deputy Hicks, because he was doing everything possible to get the driver's attention, flashing flashlights, blowing whistles, whatever, and he finally yelled out and said, you got to get out. If he hadn't done that, our guy would have been buried under about 5,000 or 6,000 pounds of the contents of the trailer. So luckily, Les was at the back of the trailer, and I believe he was knocked out as the trailer went into the air. He can't remember whether he jumped out. Either way, he had the time to protect his head and roll out of it instead of being a casualty of it. So we're happy to commend Deputy Hicks, as well as all the people that took action to help us out that day. So.
I appreciate it very much. And I think we'll follow up with some recognition of that as well in the future. So any other questions or comments or any other new business?
Judge, just along with that, it is pretty awesome that in my view, the Lord spared those folks. But, any of our departments, road department, our jail staff are out with the inmates picking up trash. They're in harm's way in any situation. And this description of that incident just highlights that. It could have been any of our departments that are out on the road.
JR's team pushing snow all the time.
Exactly.
Out in the middle of
even
hail and
animal
rain.
control. They're out chasing a dog or doing whatever.
No.
And they're kind of in harm's way.
No,
you never know what.
Not kind of.
Right.
100-pound pit bull coming at them, maybe.
But so that I thought about that when I heard that incident the other night, and I just thought, wow, when you're out there in the public, it just takes a blink of an eye.
No, it really does, and very, very thankful for all of them.
Right.
Any other comments? I've got one other comment. I know personally Rob just shared this, and I had saw it earlier and made comment to Jared, but one of Scott County's own, Stacy McIntyre, was named head coach of the women's team at the Air Force Academy today. And she's just a tremendous ambassador for Georgetown, Scott County, and just a fantastic human being and great coach, and very proud of her and her accomplishments. So I wanted to publicly share that. Rob, thanks for reminding me. There's no better human being than her. She's just a fantastic, fantastic lady. So any other business? Would someone make a motion to adjourn? Motion, second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
I know.